I'm still trying for the second time to see if you can all see me and hear me without any problems. Hi guys, so today's live is going to be about some hard truths about hair, scalp and skin. My name is Djanie-Hair. I am an advanced hair, scalp and skin practitioner here in Leicester, and I operate from a studio within ODB, fixing people's hair, scalp, skin matters. And I also consult with professionals within the industry who want to perfect the services that they provide for their clients. I'm here for a month. I'm here 1 hour each day for a month to answer questions and debunk some myths about hair, scalp and skin issues. Really, what I'm here for is for educational purposes and for entertainment, or if you find that this is helpful, then take the advice that I give you. However, if you would like to have some of my treatments or experience some of my treatments, or you find that you're going through some of the ailments that I discuss, you can find me at Vegan Hair Salon UK on social media, and you can book for any of my treatments there. I am not a doctor, I'm not a GP, I must advise that. And so that every advice that I give you does not trump the advice of your own doctor or GP. So you must seek the advice of your GP if you're having some medical issues or concerns. So today we'll be talking about some questions that I get in the studio or in my clinic a lot, and I want to address them here so that people can go and find out about them. Okay, so the first things I want to discuss are just questions about shampoos. And we have several types of shampoos. For example, we have shampoos that are sulfate-free, we have shampoos that are clarifying, we have shampoos that are chelating, and people are somewhat a little bit concerned about what they should be using, when and where. If you can hear me, please let me know you can hear me and that you can see me also. Okay, so the harsh shampoos that people tend to worry about are the shampoos that have sodium lauryl sulfate in them. These are the SLS shampoos, and people think that they are harsh for their hair, and so they worry about it. I have situations where people ask me why that type of shampoo is so hard or harsh on the hair, and my advice is that really it's doing what it says on the tin. Nobody asks why their cars drive from A to B, but they seem to wonder why shampoos with SLSs are so harsh on the hair. They are just doing what they're designed to do. They are surfactants that basically attach themselves to the surface of dirt, grease and oils, and they suspend that and then emulsify it and get rid of it, and they dispose of that buildup on the hair. That is their job. That is what they do. They are hydrophobic, so they love oil. So hydrophobic and hydrophilic basically means that products that are hydrophobic means that they have they attract the oil molecule of a product or of a matter, and hydrophilic means that they attract to the water molecule. So surfactants are hydrophobic because they move towards the oils and the grease and the dirt and the attract to it. A perfect example that I always give is that a mechanic's hand cleansing balms. If you have ever visited a traditional mechanic, you notice that they, at the end of the day, they would take a big scoop of a balm from a jar and they rub it in their hands, just as it is, dry, with no water. They rub it in, and then, only then, when they have removed all of the dirt and grime and the soot and all of that from their hands, only then do they go and rinse it off. So that product is what we call a hydrophobic product, because it loves the water, it loves the oils and the grease. And so that is what surfactants are. So shampoos that are SLS rich, or they have SLS in them, are there to attract that oil and grease, emulsify it, and get rid of it by using it and rinsing it off your hair. Okay, so hydrophilic items, the perfect example that I can give you is in skincare. So a product such, an active ingredient such as hyaluronic acid is one that is a hydrophilic product because it draws moisture to itself. So products that are rich in humectants such as glycerin or hyaluronic acid are brilliant in the fact that they attract water by up to 1,000% of their own weight, and they help to moisturize or to retain moisture within the hair or the skin. So products that you see, if you see a shampoo that says it is a moisturizing shampoo, that is essentially what it's doing. It's a surfactant that actually draws moisture to the hair. So it will cleanse the hair naturally. So it will have those hydrophobic elements in there. So it still will have a cleansing factor, but ultimately it's not as strong as the surfactant in itself. And it still provides the cleansing, but also attracting the hydrophilic benefits to your hair. So do not shy away from using certain shampoos because they are designed to work in the way that they work. If the product says this is what it does, this is what it does. There's no need in overthinking it. If you've bought a product and it says that it's for clarifying, it will clarify the hair. If it says it's moisturizing, it will moisturize the hair. If it has got SLS in there and perhaps your hair care practitioner has advised you not to use it, please try not to use it because of the fact that maybe they feel that your hair may not be able to withstand that extreme cleansing. Most of the time, the issues we have is people using products that aren't correctly prescribed for them or aren't prescribed for them at all, or the frequency of the way they're using the product. So they're probably using the wrong product too frequently, or they're using the wrong product, or they're using the right product, but they're using the right product infrequently. So trying to marry the two together where you've got the right product that you're using and you're using it frequently enough to get the desired outcome. Okay, so I'm going to move on to other questions. Which is about pH of products. So I discuss a lot about the pH of products because it is important for us to realize that pH truly matters in hair care, skin care, and scalp care. Okay, so we have the pH scale of 1 to 14. I don't know if people are familiar with the pH scale itself. It's a a way of measuring the possible hydrogen molecule in a product. And the scale runs from 0 to 14, and products are formulated based on the pH scale. So when you have shampoos, conditioners, and clarifying shampoos, for example, they are there to either raise the pH of your hair, or they are to drop the pH of the hair. Okay, so your hair, the normal hair that is in good condition, will sit between 4.5 to 5.5 on the pH scale, and that is when the hair is dry. The moment we add product to it or water to it, that pH will change. So water, it sits at the pH of 7 because it's neutral. So the pH scale is 0 to 14, but water sits neutral at 7. And so when your hair is 4.5 to 5.5, when we add water, which is 7 to a 4.5 to 5.5, the pH of the hair will shift. So 0 is acidic, 14 is alkaline. When hair is at 4.5 to 5.5, it is considered acidic. So everything we do to the hair, we try to move the hair back to its acidic state, which is 4.5 to 5.5. When things are moving towards the 14 mark, then that product is making the hair more alkaline. It's either the product is more alkaline, so therefore making the hair more alkaline, and so on and so forth. So hair shampoos and conditioners normally sit around pH scale of 3. pH scale of 6 and 7. That's hair shampoos. Hair conditioners sit at pH scale 3. So when we shampoo our hair, we are aiming to raise the cuticles of the hair. We're raising the pH of the hair. So from 4.5 to 5.5, we're raising the hair towards the pH of the shampoo, which is normally around 6 on the pH scale, so that we can use that surfactant that we said, the hydrophobic surfactant, which is the shampoo, to attract those oil, grease, and dirt, and emulsify that and get rid of that. Yeah. So by raising the pH of the hair, we are allowing the hair to be able to remove more of these products off the surface of the hair and get rid of it. That's the cleansing activity that we are engaging in. And then when we finish that, we go on to condition the hair. The conditioners normally sit around pH 3, which is brilliant because then it returns the hair back to its acidic state. So if the shampoo is sitting around 6.5, remembering that the hair is 4.5 to 5.5, if once we've finished shampooing, we then put a conditioner on, which is at 3, we are effectively moving the hair's pH towards the 4.5 to 5.5. Okay, so conditioners return the hair back to its acidic state, not the alkaline state, but the acidic state. Whereas we have chemicals such as bleaches and colors, for example, that sit on the pH scale of around 12. So they're more alkaline. So they open the cuticles wide open, and then the colors and the bleaches can be deposited onto the hair, into the cortex, and then that's where the magic happens, and then color change occurs. So bearing in mind that we've mentioned that hair is at 4.5 to 5.5, when color and chemicals go onto the hair when they're sitting at 12, you can imagine that the pH scale of the hair itself will move towards the alkaline state. And that's when we can actually get things to happen to change the texture of the hair or the color of the hair and so on and so forth. Or remove pigmentation, which is the melanin from the cortex. So the cortex of the hair is basically the inside of the hair where the strength of the hair is, not the cuticle scales, but where the strength of the hair actually sits. And then we have relaxers that are even higher on the scale, and they sit roughly around 13 and 14 on the pH scale. So when relaxers are in the wrong hands, they can act as hair removal in itself, because if you leave it on past the manufacturer's instructions and it stays on for too long, you find that the hair itself breaks down altogether. This is why we must follow the manufacturer's instructions and guidelines, because the pH of relaxers are just so high that if we leave it for too long, it will remove the hair altogether. Relaxers naturally degrade the proteins of the hair. We know the hair is made up of proteins and salts and water. And then we need to make sure that those proteins, majority of the content of the hair, because it's protein, we need to make sure that we keep that protein intact. But when we are bleaching the hair or coloring the hair or relaxing the hair, we are degrading those protein contents. And so being mindful of what we're doing is so important. Okay, so we have touched on some of the myths around shampoos and conditioners. Now, I want to discuss whether it is important to match a shampoo to its complementary conditioner. So when we buy products from shops, it normally comes paired up with a shampoo and a conditioner. The question is, do we keep the two together? Do we buy the two? Is it important to buy those two products together, or can we maybe forego the shampoo if we run out of shampoo and buy a different conditioner, or buy a different conditioner if we have the shampoo at home? The answer to the question, to that particular question, is that yes, you can use a different conditioner to a different shampoo, so long as you know quite well what you're doing. So if you're not clarifying the hair, and you're not needing to build all those nutrients back into the hair, but you're just simply shampooing. Gosh, yes, that can be seen now. Can you see me? If you can see me, please make a comment and let me know that you can see and hear me without a problem. Okay, so I'm just going to go back a little bit because I lost connection and no one could see, neither could they hear me. I was talking about the pH scale of surfactants, shampoos, conditioners, and also occlusive materials. I was saying that shampoos are sitting at the pH scale of 6.5. The hair is normally at 4.5 to 5.5. Water is neutral at 7. The pH scale stands from 0 to 14. 0 is acidic, 14 is alkaline. Water is neutral. The hair is 4.5 to 5.5. Shampoos are sitting at 6.5. So shampoos are sitting closer to neutral. But the hair itself sits at an acidic scale of 4.5 to 5.5. And so shampoos tend to open up the cuticles so that they themselves, as oil loving, which is what we call hydrophobic, they will grab hold of the oils and greases, emulsify them, and get rid of them. So that is a process that we call emulsification. That's what the purpose of a shampoo is. Then we discussed a conditioner, but the simple conditioner is usually at the pH scale of 3, and it's brilliant because it returns the hair back to its pH of 4.5 to 5.5. So if you can imagine, shampoos at 6, conditioners at 3, the hair is at 4.5 to 5.5. So when we use a conditioner, we're moving the hair closer to 4.5 to 5.5 on the pH scale. And then I spoke about chemicals such as bleaches and colors and what they do and where they sit. So they sit around the 11 and 11.5 to 12 mark on the pH scale. So they're more alkaline, and what they do is they open up those cuticles and allow the magic to happen within the cortex of the hair. So they go into the cortex, that's where the strength of the hair is, and they go in there and they change things. They can change the color of the hair, or they can remove the melanin, the pigments of the hair out. And that's what the pH, that's what bleaches and colors do to the hair. Okay, so I also wanted to answer a question that someone asked. Is it important to put the same shampoo from the same brand? So when you go to the supermarkets and you're about to buy something and it's got a shampoo and conditioner both sitting next to each other, must you buy both of them at the same time? The answer is no, you don't have to, because most conditioners and most shampoos are formulated on this pH scale. The shampoos sit at 6.5 to 7 and conditioners sit at 3. And so if you find that you're choosing the right products for your hair, it's fine, so long as it is doing exactly what you bought it for. So for the need of and the purpose that it is, you are okay to continue using it, even if you don't match the pairs together. The exception is when you clarify your hair. So clarifying shampoos are normally sitting at pH scale 7, sometimes even 9. And so those really tend to want to go in and deep clean the hair by removing minerals, residues, impurities, deposits of well water, for example, calcium, and metallic salts from the hair. So their purpose is to truly clarify the hair, that deep cleansing agent. That's what it's there for. And so the issue we have with people is that we have people who use products that are not intended for, or rather they're misusing a product and they're using it too frequently. So the frequency of using a product that is correct for your hair, that bliss point, that beautiful space in between is where the magic happens, where you're using the right product at the right frequency. When you're using the wrong products at the wrong frequency, you get the most undesirable effects. And that's where people start to really experience dissatisfaction with their hair care regime. So finding the products that are great for your hair, that are prescribed for your hair, or someone with expert knowledge has advised you to use, and using it as frequent as you have been advised to use is exactly what you should be doing. Don't go buying a clarifying shampoo and using it every week. It's a no-no. It won't serve you, and you'll end up with frazzled hair. Your hair will not just only be clarified, but it will be terrified. So then we discussed things like relaxers, and I mentioned that they sit on the pH scale of about 14. So they're very alkaline. They are so designed to completely change those proteins in the hair. Okay, so they do degrade the proteins in the hair, but they also can be seen as hair removal. So if you remember those hair removal creams that we used to put on our skin, and it completely dissolves the hair on our skin or on our legs or underarms, and then we wash it away. Yes, hair relaxers can act in the same way if we misuse them, because they are so high on the pH scale of 14. They're so alkaline, and that if we leave it on for too long, or we apply it to hair that is already struggling or has no integrity to it, and we apply those products to it, we run a very, very high risk of removing the hair. I don't know if you remember the product used to be called Veet, and that product was so good at removing hair from the legs and from the underarms. And we used to use, I remember using that in the summers to get my hairs off my legs, and you know, it was just brilliant at that. But hair relaxers can work in a similar pattern, especially if you combine hair relaxers with colors together. So people might decide that they want their hair bleached, but they want it to be relaxed. And so knowing how to do the two in a very sympathetic way to ensure that you don't end up with hair loss is very tricky. Even the most masters of hairdressers sometimes struggle with this. So please be careful. Do not engage in things like that. It doesn't help in the long run. Okay. Then I spoke about, obviously, the hydrophilic products that are the hyaluronic acids and the glycerins and things like that for the skin. I mentioned that when you have cleansed your skin and it's thoroughly cleansed, and you're needing to restore the moisture back into the skin, some of the things that you may decide to use would be things like hyaluronic acids and products that have got glycerin in there, because they are what we call hydrophilic products. So they love water, and so they attract water from the nearest source or from the highest source. From the nearest source or from the largest source. So either they attract water from you or what you have placed on your skin. Any water molecules that you have left on your skin after you've washed your face, they will attract themselves to that. So I advise clients that when you've cleansed your face and you've still got some water left on the skin, that is a good time for you to start putting those water-loving products on your skin, so that they can just use that water molecule that is left on your skin and grab hold of it and keep it in place for a very long time for deliciously moisturized skin. Or you can then optimize the larger source theory, which is that the product will attract water molecules from the largest source, which is the environment at large. The environment entirely, where it attracts water molecules from the environment to your skin up to about 1,000 times its weight. So it's about being very strategic with what we do with our skin and hair and scalp, really. Okay, then we discuss the occlusive items such as petrolatum products, so the Vaselines and things like that. So they are things that are occlusive in the sense that they trap water and they keep it there. So they don't let things out and they don't let things in. They keep they keep that water in place. So there'll be no attracting anything from anywhere. Nothing's going in and nothing's coming out. What you have that is good, that is there, will stay there. If you have something that is not good, that will stay there too. So making sure that before you put, sort of Vaseline and things around your lips and things, make sure that if you have the lips are cracked, you maybe apply some water just to hydrate the lips a little bit before you put the Vaseline on, or you lick your lips a little bit and then you apply the Vaseline on, and it's just a perfect combination to get that skin that may have been chapped to restore moisture back in. Because petrolatum in itself does not actually attract water in so much as glycerin and hyaluronic acids do. So it's about being very, very clever and being strategic in the way that we treat our skin and the scalp and the hair with the products that we have at hand. Okay, I want to quickly move on to my next topic, which is talking about protective styling and the use of synthetic hair. Okay, so I get questions a lot about protective styling. Is it really any good? There are people who claim that they've kept their hair in protective styles for a very, very long time and it's been great for their hair, and they don't really see why they should stop because it's brilliant. And I have to advise them accordingly and, give them the hard truth, which is that synthetic hair is damaging, and that you have to make sure that your hair and scalp is in a conducive environment for that styling to actually take place. So is your hair healthy enough? Has it got a good balance of moisture and protein? Has it been looked after? Are the bonds all in place? Have you tried your best to look after the hair on approach to actually installing this protective style in? And if the answer is no, then protective styling will be damaging to your hair. It will cause grave damage to your hair. It can weigh the hair down, so increasing the actual weight of your hair per follicle ratio. So if you can imagine, we have this weight of our hair sitting on our hair follicle, and that is the hair that your follicle has produced. But if you can imagine that suddenly you just place hair extensions that are so thick and in combination to the ratio of your own hair on your scalp, and then the length of it and the weight of it, it's just impractical for your scalp to be able to hold on to this length of hair and so on. So that can be quite damaging. And then we have the addition of the fact that the hair itself is so drying. So when it's on the hair, if the hair has not been treated well enough, in fact, the hair and scalp, so if the hair has been braided really close to the scalp, what you find that the hair, the synthetic hair just snuffs the hair of its moisture. It just sucks everything that is good out of your hair and scalp. And that's where the irritation comes in and causes you to just feel irritated and start scratching a little bit more than you would do. So that's not obviously discussing the really, really important conversation that has been all over social media recently, which is the PPs and the PETs. And these are the chemicals that are in the actual hair extensions, and they are deemed to be cancer causing. they cause irritation to the scalp. Clients start to experience allergic reactions to them. And so if you are allergic to synthetic fibers, it is important that your hair braider consults with you accordingly to make sure that you do not react. And also, there are ways to cleanse the hair before it is used. Or whilst you've got the hair in the synthetic hair installed in your hair, you can engage in washing your hair a little bit more frequently to help to remove that product off. Okay, but really it is best to just not do protective styling too frequently, because of the fact that if it's to gain a certain aesthetic, to make you look a certain way, that is far removed from what your own hair looks like or the weight of your own hair, it is impractical in the long run. We just have to do things that are practical. Okay, so treatments first, making sure that your hair and scalp is a good ground for you to install those treatments in, those styling treatments in, making sure that the person that is doing and installing that for you is making sure that they are protecting your hair and scalp, so they're not applying too much tension to the hair. They're making sure that the hair extension to your own hair ratio is sympathetic to avoid hair loss, and making sure that the hair itself is in good condition before, during, and after. Okay, and no, we're not allowing gels on your scalp. We're saying no to gels on your scalp. Greases and gels must be kept off the scalp, except for products that are well formulated for the scalp. And we do have gels that has been formulated well for the scalp that we do use for braiding if necessary, but really there is no need, so long as you've got those lines really well parted out, and there aren't any crosshairs, and you're observing just great technique. You shouldn't need to have to use gels so close to your scalp as we see on social media. The reason for that is that oils and grease on their own are occlusive. They have occlusive properties, but what they do that is a disadvantage for our hair and our scalp is that they also grab hold of the dead skin cells on our scalp that hasn't been shed off. They haven't been sloughed off the hair, they've not been sloughed off the scalp, and so they're living there, but they are mixing with this oil, and the oil traps it and doesn't let go of it, and so you've got this beautiful ball of dead skin cells, possibly dust, mildew, whatever, all stuck together and sitting on your scalp. Eventually what that does is it blocks your pores, your hair follicles rather, and stunts the growth of your hair, which will reduce the thickness, so that's the density of the hair, and that's not something that you're going to want over a period of time. So no gels, making sure that your hair is a conducive area and your scalp is a conducive area for you to have those scalp those styles installed, ensuring that those styles are sympathetically installed in your hair when it's being done, making sure that you don't keep it in for too long. Okay, so depending on the length and the thickness of the hair extensions that has been added to your hair, you just become mindful and not keep it in your hair for too long. And while it's in your hair, just make sure that you're obviously not swinging your hair about all the time and causing havoc to your scalp and possibly encouraging hair loss. So I'm just going to go quickly through what we've discussed today. We've discussed pH of products. We've discussed how to use products effectively, making sure that we're using the right products at the right frequency. We've discussed things like making sure that the products that you buy are doing what they're intending to, what they're meant to do or formulated to do. So not buying products that are for clarifying the hair when you're needing to wash your hair every week and clarifying it every week. there truly is no need, especially when you're not replenishing the hair back from all the proteins and things that it needs. There truly is no need to clarify the hair at that length. It really does not serve a good purpose for you to do so. Eventually your hair will become dry, it will lose moisture, it'll start to break, and it will lack in the proteins that it needs to give it the stability that it needs to have. And making sure that the products that have SLS, which is the sodium lauryl sulfates in there, are actually there to do what they're there to do. They're designed to be there to remove and create that emulsification of removing dirt, grease, grime, all those things off your scalp and hair. So understanding that things are formulated and products, ingredients are used for a purpose. They are formulated for a purpose. And so if your car drives you from A to B, that's exactly what it was designed to do. We don't have a problem with it. And yet we have a problem with sodium lauryl sulfate products that are designed to do that, is to deep clean the hair. Okay, just be mindful when you are buying these products, and then you're fully aware of what they're doing for you, or rather what they're designed to do. And then we spoke about protective hair styling and how it benefits your hair in the long run, or rather how it also does not benefit you in the long run if you don't follow certain protocols. I am going to end here. It has been a rather chaotic one today because we just could not establish a good connection, but it is done, and I hope that you found some value in today's live. And so if I have no questions, I will end here and wish you good night and goodbye.